Hello from Jonathan and from me. Welcome to Tuesday's programme.
First tonight, two more tragic homecomings, two more families left grieving for loved ones lost in Afghanistan.
Lance Corporal Scott Hardy from Chelmsford and Private James Grigg from Stradbroke died last Tuesday in Helmand Province.
Well, today their bodies were flown home. Friends and families gathered in poignant tribute at Wootton Bassett in Wiltshire as the two coffins were driven through the town. From there, Rhiannon Mills sent us this report.
Red and yellow roses. For over 200 years, a symbol of the Royal Anglians. Today, lining the streets of Wootton Bassett to welcome home two of their boys. Lance Corporal Scott Hardy from Chelmsford and Private James Grigg from Stradbroke in Suffolk. They only died in Afghanistan last week, caught in an explosion deep in Taliban territory. Their deaths have hit the regiment hard. The partners of Carly Garner and Danny Khalik served with them and are still in Afghanistan.
Hardy, it was just life and soul of A Company, the block, of the whole camp. Everyone knew him.
You just feel straight away, you feel for the girlfriends and the families, and you just, it's the call.
Yeah, it overshadows everything that you feel. Like, you can't even be excited about homecoming now because it's not the same really, not about everyone there.
But homecoming for Corporal Hardy and Private Grigg was to RAF Lynham, a scene that's become bitterly familiar. In Wootton Bassett, friends and relatives were ready to welcome them back. Corporal Hardy's girlfriend honouring him by wearing his medal. Then the town fell silent, followed by a stream of roses. And finally, applause. Before they then had to say goodbye. Today, people have travelled hundreds of miles to remember Corporal Hardy and Private Grigg. Friends, families and colleagues, all here with a very distinctive thing to join them together. Yellow and red roses, the colours of the regiment. The journey to Wootton Bassett has become part of the grieving process for many military families. Captain Ian Robinson from the Royal Anglians told us that the efforts of the town are really appreciated.
The families that I've met do, in one way or another, all seem to find it a very important part of that healing process, if you like, in the early stages. They all, to a man and woman, appreciate what the town does, the fact that it's really a focus of recognition for the sacrifice that their son or husband has made.
In the past 6 months, the regiment has lost 5 soldiers in Afghanistan. Some today didn't know Corporal Hardy or Private Grigg. For others, they meant everything. But for everyone here, their courage will never be forgotten. Rhiannon Mills, Anglia News at Wootton Bassett.
In other news, senior Labour Party officials have today distanced themselves from the disgraced Luton South MP, Margaret Moran.
Ms Moran has been suspended from the Parliamentary Labour Party following allegations she was caught attempting to cash in on her influence over government policy.
This latest scandal comes less than a year after she was heavily criticised for her expenses claims and despite her claims that she's too ill to work.
Our political correspondent Matthew Hudson joins us now from Luton. Matt, another bad day for Margaret Moran.
Yes, indeed, Becky. Her house here, well, it may be for sale, but don't expect Margaret Moran to show you around it personally. She's completely gone to grounds. No one we've spoken to seems to know where she is. And today, with her career in tatters, well, she certainly didn't break cover to defend herself. Actions speak louder than words, and this is the message Larry McGovern wants to send Margaret Moran. A Labour Party member for more than 40 years, he's appalled at what he's seen.
I'll tell you, I'm disgusted with her. I'm not appalled, I'm disgusted. She's a disgrace. She's let down the people of Luton South. She's let down the Labour Party, and she's let down Luton in general. And as far as I can see, she's no morals whatsoever. Because when I saw her on the television last night, my foot nearly went through the television.
He's not alone. In the town today, it was almost impossible to find anyone with a good word to say about the honourable member for Luton South.
She's just scamming the system, isn't she? She was doing it. She wasn't even working in Luton when she was here. So now, I mean, she should be held accountable for this now.
That's very bad. If she's getting paid to do her work as an MP, you know, for Luton, and if she's not carrying out her duties, she shouldn't do any other work.
I think it's a real shame that it's a reflection of the government that we have in at the moment, that they honestly believe that they can do these things.
Our fictional firm.
Miss Moran's performance on last night's Dispatches programme has put what's left of her reputation under the spotlight. She told undercover reporters posing as political lobbyists she could get them access to see.
I'm reasonably flexible, really. I mean, if, you know, particularly if it's something that sort of you can tell certain things, I go, yes.
Margaret Moran was elected as MP for Luton South in 1997. Between 2004 and 2008, she claimed almost £75,000 in expenses, the most infamous of which was a bill for £22,500 to repair dry rot at a property in Southampton. Since the scandal, she's been on permanent sick leave, but is still claiming a full salary. Miss Moran has been barred from standing at the general election, but since she hasn't been suspended from Parliament, just the Labour Party, like all departing MPs, she'll be entitled to a parachute payment of up to 90% of her salary, plus a generous pension. Yet, despite not being well enough to work, she's been caught touting her services as a political fixer. Her house is for sale, but Miss Moran hasn't been seen here for months. Her office has also been stripped of any mention of her. Even Miss Moran's own constituency party has turned on her.
As far as I was concerned, and I think that the local people are concerned, and the Labour Party is, that she was off sick, and that is what we believed. And, you know, for what we saw was appalling.
Margaret Moran will only be MP here for a few more weeks, a 13-year political career ending in scandal and sleaze.
Well, back to Matt. Matt, it's not just feeling like Christmas has come early for Labour's opponents in Luton, I suppose. It feels like Christmas with all the trimmings as well. It's extraordinary.
That's right, Jonathan. I mean, they've practically been queuing up to put the boot in. Kevin Hussein, who's standing here for the Liberal Democrats, he said it showed that she'd taken a year's salary for doing nothing. Her opposite number, Nigel Huddleston of the Conservatives, he called the footage both stomach-churning and brazen. And Esther Ranson, who is, of course, standing on an anti-sleaze ticket, she said that Miss Moran should be suspended from Parliament as well as the Labour Party. You have to wonder whether she'll ever want to set foot here in Luton again.
Matthew, thank you. And the question of MPs' honesty is sure that's one to come up at the live televised debates between party leaders to be staged before the election.
Yep, the first one will be right here on ITV1. It's going to be an historic moment. The first time ever the political leaders have gone head-to-head on British TV. It was something I put to the host of the debate, Alistair Stewart.
It is amazingly exciting from a personal point of view and for ITV generally to be involved in the very first debate. But also, do you know, I really do think it matters enormously to not only the people in the Anglia region, you know, from Norwich right down to Clacton and what have you. It matters for our democracy because it's a chance for viewers themselves to get directly engaged. We say that the broad heading of our debate is domestic policy. It's about schools, hospitals, how we run our politics. But it's what the people in Norwich and Harwich and Clacton want to ask the leaders about themselves. And I think that's really, really exciting. We're just providing a platform and a referee to ensure that there's fair play. But it's down to the people who are watching. They'll raise the issues, they'll put the questions.
I think a lot of our viewers will want to do this. So how do they go about getting involved?
Well, as always, there's lots of good stuff on the website. If you want to put a question, then you simply go to debate@itv.com. But also there's more background information on the itv.com website as well under Leader Debate. So that information is there. But I want to be really clear about this because it is not for me or for Wilsey or for Becky to tell people what they should be asking about. It is entirely up to your viewers to think, what's really worrying me is X, Y or Z. Then go online and put a question. The only rule is that's really important. It has to be a question that each of the leaders themselves can fairly answer. So it's not just one about Labour policy or Conservative policy or Liberal Democrat policy. It's got to be something that they're all going to have a view on under that general heading, whether it's schools, hospitals or whatever.
Brilliant. Alistair, enjoy the evening. We look forward to seeing it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good to talk to you guys.
Thank you. Well, it will certainly be